Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to really cut through the noise of all this midseason AFL chaos.
Right.
If you need a thorough, quick understanding of exactly where the season is right now and where it's headed next, this Deep Dive is for you.
And we have synthesized a huge stack of sources. I mean, we've got every score, every analyst's match report.
The full ladder, all the predictions for round 11.
Everything. We are officially at the business end of Season 11. It's Saturday, January 10th, 2026, and the clock is definitely ticking.
And when you pull all those insights together, the league isn't just competitive, it's aggressively congested.
That's the perfect word for it.
The sources show a clear split, a high-pressure top four battle at one end, and that's putting immense pressure on what's being called a bottom eight bloodbath. Round 11 isn't just another week, it's where the separation starts.
It has to be.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the immediate shockwaves from last round.
Well, chaos is the right word. Round 10 was just the definition of high variance. We had these incredibly close matches decided by the narrowest margins.
And then complete blowouts.
Exactly. Juxtaposed against absolute thrashings that completely skewed the percentages.
Let's start with that closeness. The sources flagged 3 incredible finishes, all inside 10 points. The Queensland Derby was just pure theater.
No, absolutely. Brisbane Lions get over the Gold Coast Suns 117 to 115, a 2-point margin.
But the crucial detail isn't just the score, is it?
No, not at all. It's the timing. The Lions kicked the match winner with only 30 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
That's not just a win. That's a huge psychological boost for Brisbane and just a brutal, soul-crushing loss for the Suns.
Oh, absolutely. And those moments can change a team's whole mindset for weeks. We also had 2 other really gritty road wins.
Right. Port Adelaide grabbing a 5-point win against Melbourne at the MCG, 101-96. The reports called that a high-scoring scrap.
And then in Sydney, Richmond just held off the Swans by 8 points, 105 to 97.
And look, those are the wins that prove you're a real finals contender, you know? Winning away from home under that kind of pressure.
But then you flip the coin, and we have to talk about the shock of the round.
Yeah, because consistency just... it failed spectacularly for a couple of teams.
You're talking about the 2 big upsets.
Yeah. First, the Western Bulldogs. They completely derailed Essendon's so-called revival streak. An 8-point win, 78 to 70.
And Essendon had been building some real momentum.
They had. And that loss, it just exposes a real fragility there.
That one was surprising. But the genuine shocker, the one that's going to have the biggest mathematical impact, was Fremantle over St Kilda.
Oh, without a doubt. The Dockers didn't just win. The reports all say they smashed the Saints.
By 39 points, 104 to 65.
That margin, it's the biggest of the whole round. And for a team like St Kilda, who are fighting for a final spot, conceding that many points, it's not just a loss.
It's a crisis.
It's an immediate structural crisis. It shows their whole defensive system just broke down.
And speaking of margins, we have to talk about the West Coast Eagles. They weren't just playing for the 4 points, were they?
No, they were playing the long game. The analysis describes their win over North Melbourne as a necessary percentage-boosting thrashing.
They piled on 21 goals, 139 to 102.
Exactly. It was a strategic performance. They knew they needed to build that buffer because of the logjam at the top.
So you have this bizarre mix of single-digit thrillers and these massive blowouts. What does that tell us about the league's competitive balance right now?
It just screams volatility. And that volatility, it comes from inconsistency. The sources suggest the gap between a team's A game and their C game is just massive right now.
So it's not that teams are structurally weaker, it's that they're just not showing up every week.
Precisely. And in a league this tight, one bad loss like St Kilda's 39-point humiliation can completely derail your season, not just because of the loss itself, but because of the mathematical damage.
Which is the perfect setup for diving into the ladder.
Yeah.
Because if round 10 was chaos, the ladder right now is just pure congestion.
It looks less like a hierarchy and more like a 3-lane traffic jam on a Friday afternoon.
So let's get into it. Part 2. The ladder logic.
Okay, if you look at the very top, it is an unbelievable logjam. The top 4 teams, Adelaide, West Coast, Brisbane, and Geelong, all have the exact same record.
7 wins, 3 losses, all sitting on 28 points.
I mean, that kind of parity this deep into a season is really, really rare.
But like we just saw with the Eagles, wins are only half the story. The tiebreaker is percentage, and the range there is. It's astonishing.
It truly is. The Crows are sitting pretty at number 1 with 113.99%. a healthy buffer.
Right.
But then you look at the bottom of that top four, Geelong is barely hanging on in fourth place with only 101.21%.
So that small gap, just 12 percentage points, is the only thing separating first from fourth.
Exactly. Which means if Geelong has one more sloppy loss, even if they win the week after, their spot is extremely vulnerable. They're struggling to keep pace.
Let's turn to that next tier then, the 6 and 4 group, fighting for those last final spots.
Yeah.
5th through 8th. This is the definition of a pressure cooker.
And again, it's 4 teams tied. Fremantle, GWS, Richmond, and St Kilda. All on 6 wins, 4 losses.
Separated only by percentage.
And this is where St Kilda's crisis becomes so clear. They're sitting in 8th, but they are the only team in the entire top 8 with a negative percentage.
97.9. That's got to be a sickening number for their supporters to look at.
It's their immediate peril. They're on life support because right below them, you've got this cluster of 5 and 5 teams just waiting to pounce.
Collingwood in particular seems like a fascinating case. They're 5 and 5, which is respectable, but they're all the way down in 11th. Why?
It's purely percentage. Collingwood is sitting on a miserable 87.54%.
Wow.
That means their wins have been narrow and their losses have been large. Mathematically, they are a paper tiger right now. A win is critical, but a big win, a percentage booster like the Eagles just had, is mandatory for them.
The story of the league is clear then. The 7-3 group fights for dominance, the 6-4s for survival, and the 5-5s just enter the conversation.
And you can't forget the bottom cluster. Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton. They might not make finals, but they are dangerous.
They're the spoilers.
The spoilers who can steal a crucial win and inflict serious percentage damage on a finals hopeful.
The air is just electric with pressure, and that pressure is about to explode in round 11.
Here we go.
The source analysis for these upcoming games is ruthless. Let's see how they predict this logjam finally breaks.
This is where the separation happens, Saturday, January 10th, and the analysis points to one clear game of the round.
Which is?
The top-ranked Adelaide Crows, who are 7 and 3, against the 6 and 4 GWS Giants at Adelaide Oval.
The stakes couldn't be higher. The Crows want to solidify number 1. The Giants want to break into that top 4.
It's a massive positional clash, and the sources are tipping an incredibly tight one, Adelaide by only 9 points.
So a real scrap.
A huge scrap. The prediction notes that the winner locks top 4, the loser faces a packed mid-table fight. That's the difference right there.
Okay, moving to the other end of the spectrum, we have the lock of the round, and this one. This smells like trouble for Collingwood.
It does. Geelong hosting Collingwood at GMHBA Stadium. Geelong's 7 and 3, Collingwood's 5 and 5 with that terrible percentage.
And the prediction?
Aggressive. Geelong by 31+ points. It's all about that Cardinia Park Fortress reputation.
But if Collingwood loses by that much, their percentage just plummets, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't there a risk in overlooking their sheer desperation?
There is, but desperation only gets you so far against a sound team at their home fortress. If they concede another big loss like that, the mathematical damage could be irreversible for them.
Right. Then we get to the upset alert. This one focuses on that bottom cluster. Carlton, who are 3 and 7, taking on the Sydney Swans, also 3 and 7.
Both teams just need a win badly, and the analysis actually tips Carlton to get the upset, even though the Swans are at home. It's a bet on pure desperation. A win here pulls one of those teams out of the cellar and gives them a real lift.
And what about the other crucial games? The ones that really decide the fate of that 6 and 4 group?
Well, you have the Western Bulldogs trying to slow down the 7 and 3 West Coast Eagles.
The Eagles are predicted to win that one pretty comfortably.
Yeah, by 22 points. The description was simply, Premier's too classy. The sources think the Bulldogs' inconsistency will show up again here.
And finally, the team most under the microscope, St Kilda. They're hosting a Richmond team that's 7 and 4 and coming off a win.
And Richmond is predicted to win by 16 points. The expectation is clear. The Tigers will exploit the Saints slump after that 39-point humiliation.
St Kilda just cannot afford another double-digit loss.
No. Their negative percentage is a ticking time bomb, and Richmond is expected to make it explode.
So if you bring it all together, the forecast is pretty clear.
Yeah.
4 potential blowouts and 3 incredibly tight pressurized games. The sources say we have ladder compression incoming.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner? It means the league is at an irreversible separation point. The pressure is forcing the 7 and 3 group to fight for every inch.
While the 6 and 4 teams are just fighting for their lives against the 5 and 5 group who can smell blood.
It's the tightest mid-season ladder we've seen in years. Every single kick, every turnover, it all feeds into this massive percentage battle.
It's about whether the contenders can break free or if the survivors can just hold their nerve.
And the emphasis from the sources is all on percentage. For teams right on the edge, like St Kilda at 97.90% or Collingwood at 87.54 winning, is not enough. They need huge margins.
So the question for you, the learner, is purely one of mental fortitude. Looking at these predictions, which team sitting from 5th to 8th?
Fremantle, GWS, Richmond, or St Kilda?
Right. Which one has the psychological strength to survive these predicted blowouts and avoid getting sucked back into that desperate 5 and 5 traffic jam?
This weekend is all about who survives the logjam. It determines everything.